The topic for today's webinar, hosted by Clearview Social, is successful recruiting using social media. And a little bit about me. I have been the Director of Client Success at Clearview Social for 6 years. And if you're not familiar with Clearview Social, a little background, we basically help companies get their employees sharing on social media. And my role has been kind of helping those clients throughout the years, different industries, different size companies. And over that time, I've had the ability to see the way things have shifted on social media, the type of content that's being shared, and some of the success stories that the clients have had. And since COVID, there's been a huge change with our clients that have went from sharing, company content, firm content, sort of talking about, what they have going on, their success stories, how they can help people. And clients have actually started using it for recruiting and staffing as well, which was something we didn't even envision when we created this product, but it's been a great change and people have seen success with it. Another thing about me is I am married to, my wife works in staffing and recruitment. So she's a subject matter expert, which I thought kind of made me a subject matter expert by association. So some of the topics I'm going to talk about today, I bounced some ideas off of her and some of the things that she sees like challenges in staffing and recruitment. I know we have some individuals on this call that are in that industry. So along the way, please feel free to chime in the chat or the question and answer. I will be, checking that as we go. And let's get started here. So I wanted to first start off with just a little bit of information and common ways that we've seen companies recruit, right? So a couple of the popular methods right now, job posting sites, Glassdoor, Indeed, ZipRecruiter. Those are some of the most popular ones. There's others out there, but I think that has been a very popular way to recruit using a staffing firm, right? And we have some individuals from staffing firms on this. So that has been always a route that people have taken. Some companies have their own internal staffing team, whether it's one recruiter or a team. That is a popular way as well. Job postings on corporate social media, whether that's organic posts or they're using a like LinkedIn Recruit. That is a method that most companies use now. And most websites have a career page. And employee word of mouth. A lot of companies will have a referral bonus. If you can bring in an employee, that's fantastic. And then job fairs is another way that you can recruit. So I think that covers a lot of the methodology or different methods on recruiting. So what I wanted to do next was go through some of the challenges that the companies faced with using these methods. So the first I want to go through is job posting sites. And some of the challenges with job posting sites is you are not always going to have applicants that come through on a job posting site that meet the criteria of your posting, whether it's the amount of money they want, the location they are in, if they want to work from the office or at home, if they're qualified, right? If they meet all of the qualifications that you want them to. And what happens there is your team will spend a lot of time reviewing resumes. I saw that the average job posting online receives about 250 on average applications. That's really time consuming if you don't have a staffing firm that you hired or an internal staffing team to go through that, right? If someone in HR is in charge of that, or your executive team handles staffing. Job posting sites bring in a lot of resumes, but you have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb to get to that correct resume or two. Hiring a staffing firm, right? Staffing firms, like if you've gone through the process where you aren't having any luck and you hire a staffing firm, they're always like guaranteed to do a great job for you, get you quality candidates. That's what they do. That's what they live and breathe. But staffing firms for companies looking to hire that may be small it's expensive, right? You're paying, 20 to 25% of a first year base salary. So for some organizations, hiring a staffing firm might not always be, the choice that they can make. Internal staffing, if you have an internal recruiter or a team, you're obviously paying for their salary. So right off the bat, that's really expensive. Depending on your industry or the size of your organization, you might not be able to afford that position full time. And if you do have one person or two people and you're a fast growing company, it can get overwhelming for those individuals pretty quickly. Going through all those applications, posting on social media. So internal staffing faces some issues as well. Posting organically on social media with your corporate social media is expensive. LinkedIn Recruiter on average is around $9,000 a year. So if you're using a tool like that, that is also expensive. And if you're just doing it organically, the issue there is that you're not getting a ton of traffic to your corporate social media pages. Same with a career page on your website. It's really hard to get traffic back to your career page. Not a lot of people will see those. Not a lot of people are just searching on Google for company websites and finding their way to that. I mentioned employee word of mouth and the referral bonus. So if someone refers an employee, that is probably the best case scenario, right? Word of mouth. But the issue with word of mouth is that if you're an employee and there's a job posting, in your mind, you're probably only thinking of people very close to you, close family, close friends that personally are looking for a job or are unemployed, right? If a job is opened up and you don't know that a person is unemployed or looking for a job, you're not just going to proactively reach out to them and say, hey, you should apply for this job, right? It's not something that people commonly practice. So their window of potential candidates is really small. Again, if they do have someone, it's a really high success rate, but the window or group of people they can target, it seems to be quite low. And then job fairs. After COVID, no one really shows up to job fairs any longer. So that has been a little bit unsuccessful as of late. Now we get to kind of the topic of this webinar, which is social media and why to leverage your employees' social media. And I love this graphic because I think it's very telling and it's somewhat kind of obvious, right? When you have information you want someone to see, a job posting, and you are able to get a group of your employees to post it out, the amount of eyeballs that go on that piece of content, multiplies very quickly. And if you think about your corporate social media where you're posting organically for a job posting, you might have in this bubble here, 250 people on each network that see that. But if you get your employees to post this out, it will be seen by thousands and thousands of individuals, depending on how many employees you have, right? But you have your employees at your company. They probably like your company. That's why they're still working there. And they want to see those jobs filled with good people, right? And if they're in their network, that's a bonus. So getting them to share gets this content seen by so many additional eyeballs. Now, I'm going to go through these next two slides, and it's kind of stat heavy, but I think these stats are so important to understand the power of social media right now. And going through and kind of strengthen numbers here. So when you are posting something on social media compared to when you're getting all of your employees to share, it will get 800 times more engagement with your employees sharing. So you can imagine how beneficial that is if you are sharing a job posting that you're not having much luck with. When Adweek surveyed individuals, 76% of them said that they are more likely to trust content shared by an individual over a brand or a corporate social media post. Companies with successful employee advocacy programs are 58 times more likely to attract and 20 times more likely to retain top talent. And employee advocacy is basically getting your employees to share on social media. That's kind of like the buzzword that is used for that. So employee advocacy, getting employees to share. So not only are you getting more people to see that, but when people do see it, it retains them more as well because they're in someone's network or they're a friend of a friend or an associate. So that is a very important statistic as well. 79% of job applicants use social media in their job search. A referral makes a candidate 85 times more likely to be hired. And this stat to me jumps out more than the others. 73% of candidates are passive job seekers. So what that means is 73% of people that are hired maybe are not unemployed. Maybe they don't even know they're looking for a job. Maybe they don't check that box in their settings on LinkedIn so that recruiters are reaching out to them to provide them with opportunities. These are people that have jobs. They're somewhat happy with their job, but they see a job posting that gets their attention and they end up applying and get hired for a job, right? So this is what I was talking about earlier, where employee word of mouth, they are not reaching these 73% of candidates because they don't understand that they're even looking for a position, right? So you're not going to reach out to someone that you think is happily employed, whether they're a friend or family. So this to me is extremely telling, and that's exactly the type of people we're looking to get in front of with social media. Because when you're posting to social media, you're not posting to a specific group of people. You're posting to every single person in your network, whether they're a family, friend, you went to school with them, you met them at a networking event. All those people are going to see that content. And it's not going to people that are saying, hey, I'm looking for a job, right? It's everybody. So that to me is probably the most important stat on this page. And then 48% of businesses say that their top quality hires come from employee referrals. And this is, these are two kind of questions that are answered by some stats that I think are, that resonate quite a bit. And the first question is, do referred employees stay longer? And the answer is yes. Referred employees stay 70% longer on average. Referral hires have a retention rate of 46% compared to only 33% of job board hires. That's an increase of 40% in retention rates. In particular, small companies tend to see the best gains from referrals as these hires stay 122% longer. You know, why that's so important is hiring, as we saw in previous slides, is it's time consuming, it's expensive, and depending on the size of the company, right? If you miss on a hire, it is, you know, it's tough to go through that, you know, because, you know, you go through that whole entire process and someone leaves and you got to go through it again, and it could really be detrimental to a company. So when you have someone in your network or someone's connection come in, and they can stay longer, that is huge for a company. And then a little bit here about why companies prefer referrals. You know, I know I've provided a lot of stats, but less time to hire. So on average, you could save 13 days when hiring a referral. And you can imagine 13 days, that could be 13 days of going through resumes. And that is time consuming, right? So you're getting all of that time back. Cost less to hire. You know, the monetary value of that time is about $1,000 in hiring costs when you hire a referral. And they stay longer. On average, 70% stay longer, and 45% of referral hires stay longer than 4 years, compared to 25% on job board hires. And this is huge too, the fit, right? The culture. So 70% of businesses agree that referrals have the best culture fit for their company. Referrals tend to be familiar with the career that they're going into, or at least know some of their future coworkers, and that makes it easy for them to fit in. And that's huge. And I think nowadays, when you are hiring people, they almost interview you as much as you interview them, right? People, it is an employee market right now, I guess, where they are picking and choosing where they want to go. And if they have someone that they know that they can reach out to, and they give them a good review on the culture or the fit, that's huge for people. And that's a huge selling point, almost as much as the benefits or the salary or the PTO. People genuinely care about the culture. So if you can bring someone in from your network or extended network, you're starting them off, you know, on the right foot, and most likely they will be happier joining that company. Now, with all that being said, you know, how does Clearview Social potentially come into this and help you out with getting employees more active on social media, specifically with job postings? And the answer is, we basically allow you to send out content directly to your employees with an email. What you're looking at here, you just take a job posting and put it into our platform, and it will email directly to your employees. And in that email, all your employees need to do is go through and look at the content or the job postings and click a share button, and that content will go out to their social media with generally just 1 click or 2 clicks. And then we schedule that content out at the best times of the day per social media network. So your employees don't have to worry about, finding the job postings or the content in general. They don't have to worry about when to share it. And then most importantly for you, you are able to track everything that's going on in your organization. You get to see who is sharing, how it's performed, what type of content is the most popular, which of your employees are most active, which is huge, right? Because, getting people to share, but not knowing who or how it's performed isn't very beneficial. So that's kind of where Clearview Social comes in. And I think specifically for the recruiting aspect of Clearview Social, we have a feature that we've built out where if you have, let's just say 10 employees sharing the same job posting, and let's just say Jim Smith in particular got someone to click on his job posting and fill out an application, and that person ended up getting hired. You can actually tell that specifically Jim Smith was the individual who brought that lead in off of social media. So you still have the ability to give an employee a referral bonus, give him credit, incentivize them. So that's a huge part of it as well, because I know, especially for staffing or recruitment companies, like giving the proper what word am I looking for here? Proper credit for bringing in a lead, right? That's super important to people. So we've kind of adjusted our product because we've seen this use case quite a bit over the last couple of years. So I think really that is the important part is, not only are you getting your employees to post, but you're seeing who is posting, how it's performed. And, when you're getting people to look at a job posting right now in your corporate, if you just imagine that and multiply it by the amount of employees that you have that can share it in your head, if you're doing that math, you can imagine, how much more content or how much more traffic is seeing that content. So I have a screen here. I'll keep this up for a second. If you have any questions about Clearview Social or anything that I covered here today, here is my contact information. I'm happy to answer any questions or talk about any success stories or ways companies have rolled this out. Because industries, we have staffing and recruiting clients specifically, but we also have clients of every different industry, accounting, real estate, legal, that use Clearview Social for their internal recruiting teams as well. So if anyone's interested in hearing a little bit more about how they roll that out or how they gauge success, happy to answer that.